I changed my mind when it comes to SNEK. And why is that? It's because previously I believed that SNEK was going to go to the price of 5 cents during this board. But the more I thought about it, I was like, that's a little bit caca, to be honest. I was like, yeah, that's a little bit bad. And especially seeing how well SNEK has been doing and also taking a look at the trajectory for Bitcoin and also the sentiment for altcoins overall. I was like, yeah, that's just way too low right there. That's like, again, complete caca. My new price target is 20 cents when it comes to SNEK, even though nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee. Now, it's not like it's even too insane anyways, at the price of 20 cents, because if SNEK were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, at that point, market cap would be around $15 billion. So it's not too bad, right? Now, is it the best hypothetical upside? No, but you know what? Considering how much SNEK has pumped, which I predicted, by the way, doesn't seem too bad. At least that's the way I take a look at it. And here's the thing. When I take a look at SNEK, I can't really say I'm surprised by how well it's doing because after all, it's a Cardano meme coin. And as you all know, I'm very bullish on Cardano. And I've been saying this time and time again. I've always said how usually when an ecosystem really gains a lot of attention, typically a lot of the smaller projects, for instance, also the meme coins, they do go along with the ride. We've seen this time and time again. Like, for instance, you take a look at Dog with Hat, you take a look at Book of Meme. Why did they do so well? It's because when Solana popped off, naturally, these Solana-based meme coins, they also went along with the ride. Also Ethereum, we've seen that in the past. Now, Cardano, right? Cardano's popping off. When I was talking about ADA, Cardano's native token back then, everyone thought it was trash, all this type of stuff. But as of right now, ADA is above the price of $1. Can't really, again, say I told you so, but hypothetically, I did tell you so. But here's the thing. Again, if Cardano pops off, it's only fair to assume that arguably, in my opinion, I would say, the most, passionate community when it comes to a meme coin on Cardano, much like SNEK, I don't know why it won't go along with the ride. The way I take a look at it is that Cardano, it's not really known for meme coins, but I think this right here is a blessing in disguise because, yes, even though these Solana-based meme coins are very popular, eventually, what are people going to do? They're going to move on because initially, everyone was very bullish on Ethereum meme coins. Then they moved on to Solana. It's only natural that they now move on to some place like Cardano. So when it comes to SNEK, man, I really like its direction. And again, for arguably being the best meme coin on Cardano, in my opinion, having, a market cap of around $15 billion, I just don't see why not during this bull run. We've seen Dogecoin reach over 80 billion. We've seen SHIB reach around 40 billion. I'm not saying that SNEK has to defeat them by any means. Just achieving like a glimpse of what they achieved, I think that's already so amazing, right? So when I take a look at SNEK, when people like to say that, oh man, porra, caralho, this is a very bad meme coin, I disagree. I do believe that this right here is arguably one of the best meme coins out there. Now, does it have a good use case? Absolutely not. I mean, come on, right? Now, does it really matter though? Here's the thing. Does it matter if LeBron James is good at painting or ice skating? No. He's playing basketball. Why would that even matter? So when it comes to a meme coin, does it matter if it has a bad use case? I don't think so because again, it is a meme coin. It's not naturally supposed to have a good use case. At least that's the way I take a look at it. Now, here's the thing. When I take a look at something like SNEK, I do like its exposure because it's listed in some major exchanges. Now, it's not listed everywhere, but it's heading in the right direction. And also, the community is very passionate. And again, also on top of that, I like, the fun aspect of this. I think it's very unique because we see a lot of dog theme meme coins, cat theme meme coins, but come on, this is like a snake. I think it's pretty cool. Now, here's the thing. When I take a look at something like this, I think it pretty much ticks all the boxes as what a meme coin should be. Unique, strong community, and pretty good exposure. So again, we've seen this work time and time again, this recipe, I would call it, right? We've seen this work time and time again when it comes to something like, multiple meme coins in the past. We've seen this happen with Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, right? With Pepe, the list goes on and on and on. So when it comes to SNEK, I don't see why it'd be any different. As the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. If Bitcoin does a lot better, which hypothetically I think it could, because even the co-founder of Ethereum, who also happens to be the founder of Cardano, by the way, so you get the relation here, right? When it comes to SNEK, Charles Hoskinson, on a video on November 26, he stated how in the next 12 to 24 months, he could very well see Bitcoin being anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000. So could you imagine that? If let's say $500,000 or $500,000 is a little bit too optimistic, which I do think it is, let's say we use his worst case, example, which is like 250,000, could you imagine what happens to altcoins then? I mean, it could be so legendary. So when it comes to SNEK, I don't see why I won't go along with the ride. At least that's the way I take a look at it. And why would I be surprised that Cardano is doing well? I mean, it's a very amazing layer 1 blockchain, very fast, very scalable. Gas fees are not caca nonsense. You take a look at Ethereum, it often has to rely on these layer 2s. Why is that? It's because you take a look at the gas fees. It's a complete no bueno. You take a look at the scalability issues. I mean, caralho. I mean, this is just not good, man, in my opinion. So when I take a look at Cardano, I'm not surprised. I made a very good call on that. And also I made a very good call on SNEK, but I think better days are ahead. And again, at the price of 20 cents, I don't see why not. You know, as of right now, there's currently over 600 million crypto owners according to crypto.com research. That is more than ever before in history, by the way. And yeah, you heard that right. You know, even in the peak of the 2021 bull run, everyone was pulling out their pom-poms and saying that it was very amazing. But actually, during the peak of that bull run, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. So now we pretty much have double that. I mean, could you imagine that, right? This bull run could be so fantastic, in my opinion. And it's just a matter of time because, you know, eventually people are going to move on. They're going to see that, oh, wow, you know, these dinosaurs like a Shiba Inu Dogecoin, they don't really have much upside. And I think they're going to look for something relatively smaller. Now, does SNEK have the best upside? Again, it doesn't. But then I'm not in the world of cryptocurrencies to look for microcaps. What I like is like a meme coin that's not a microcap, but then not a complete dinosaur. Something in between, much like SNEK. Now, granted, SNEK has grown quite a lot ever since I started talking about it. No pun intended, of course. But even besides that point, when I take a look at this, it perfectly fits the bill as to what I'm looking for. Not too much risk where it's like a microcap. Let's say there's a microcap called like Bratwurst Extender Inu or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making this up, right? Maybe that could do like a 1000x. I have no idea. But then I'm not looking for like a 4x either. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for some random nonsense like Dogecoin. So again, that's why I like SNEK so much. It's not too small. It's not too big. Now there's always going to be risk. I totally understand that. But then, you know, this is a little bit more mitigated in my opinion. And I like the risk to reward ratio. And all I got to do is just really stay patient at this point. Just continue my strategy that I've been doing this whole time. Anytime earn income, acquiring SNEK, holding, and just waiting, because around 6 months to a year, and maybe even beyond that, I think things could be totally different, which is why I'm still staying patient, continuing to accumulate more and more SNEK, and I'm not going to give up. I haven't sold anything, you know, at all, because I still believe that it has a ways to go. However, even besides that point, I'm still very bullish because I believe in this bull run. I think SNEK is amazing, and I think Cardano is a very fantastic layer 1 blockchain. I don't see why SNEK would do bad. But again, it's just a waiting game. I get it. It's a little bit boring, but you know what? It is what it is. You know, I'm not one to day trade or use leverage or swing trade because I like to keep things simple. Again, dollar cost averaging, that's the way I do it. I even cut my own hair, by the way. That's why it looks so nice. I'm just joking. You know, here's the thing. I used to have a hairstyle back then, but then it was just too much work. I didn't want to go to the barber like, you know, every 3 weeks or like a month. I was like, God, man, I'm done with that. So that's why I decided to cut my own hair. But even besides that point, again, SNEK at the price of 20 cents during this bull run, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm very bullish on SNEK. And I really can't wait. And that's why I changed my mind. I think it's one of the best meme coins out there. 20 cents again is my new price target for this bull run, hypothetically speaking. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain. I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.